Hello, my name is Mendoza, and I'd like to welcome you to my project concerning the effects of mental health and loneliness among college students and other people as well. I would like to also express my gratitude to Dr. Tammy Kern. Without her support and her mentorship, none of this would be possible. I would also like to thank the faculty staff members for allowing me to present my project in this research conference. So thank you again, and welcome to my project.
Lemony Snicket once said, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it isn't so. So, what is this it that is not understood? The answer would be mental health. More specifically, how we misunderstand the effects that mental health and loneliness have on our society as a whole. Ever since the dawn of time, humans have always been social beings that relied on communication from others in order to survive, whether it be to trade goods or to talk amongst friends and family. Social interaction has been a universal concept. But now in the 21st century, human interaction has changed with the introduction of new technologies such as smartphones and computers. More and more, we're drawing away from face to face interaction and relying more on our phones to text, email, or call people. This means that events such as COVID 19 really accelerated this idea. So once COVID had hit the United States, specific rules were put in place that disallowed hangouts and gatherings. Places such as schools, sports, gyms, and etc. were put on hold until new guidelines allowed for safer interactions. Educational institutions such as colleges and other campuses had then resorted to Zoom meetings instead of in-person sessions. This solution was to try to fulfill that requirement for interaction amongst professors and students. And so in my presentation, I hope to elaborate how important it is for that face-to-face interaction compared to having a Zoom meeting instead. In an ever so changing world, society has converted many jobs and responsibilities online. People always want to do their very best in anything they work at, but are always stressed and anxious about what others think of them. This anxiousness leads people to tending to feel alone and afraid of this social interaction. Vivek H. Murthy, MD, the author of Together, The Healing Power of Human Connection in a Sometimes Lonely World, talks about a report done by Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation. This report talks about how many adults are feeling lonely or isolated. The report states that 22% of all adults in the US say they often or always feel lonely or isolated. That's well over 55 million people. This means that cases are affecting many people across the United States, which include both college students and their families. COVID 19 has not only affected adults, but has also affected kids as well. People are resorting to Zoom calls for meetings and gatherings instead of in person meetings. Murthy also explains to the reader that kids are social beings as well, and that they need interaction with others in order to function properly. He says our kids are no different, and yet too often the importance of healthy social relationships can get lost amid the other priorities of school, sports, grades, chores, and family pressures. This importance shows how families must understand that their children are dealing with pressures of society, which include trying to make friends, fitting in when possible, and leaving good impressions on people. Now, kids may not show these emotions because they have a fear of rejection from their parents. I knew as a little kid, I always wanted to impress my parents and uh, and try to interact with them and try to get in the least amount of trouble when possible. But now that COVID-19 has hit, this has built a lot of anxiousness and uncertainty, which can also lead to the parents becoming anxious as well, which is not good for a healthy family environment. These effects of such unprecedented events of a lack of social interaction are due to a lack of social interaction from professors and classmates and show the difficulty of students learning material online. This type of interaction is very unhealthy and unbeneficial to the students who want to learn the material. An article published by estudent.org focuses on the many disadvantages that are placed on students who learn. They have found that learning online can lead to social isolation from others and can contribute to a lack of communication skills in the future. You know, having the option to do assignments online and can also leave students to have no sense of pressure from their professors when assignments are due. The article states a lack of any kind of face-to-face communication with the instructor inhibits student feedback, causes social isolation, and could cause students to feel a lack of pressure. A lack of pressure is a disadvantage in the sense that it causes many students to abandon their studies more easily. This means that students feel at a disadvantage when compared to being in an actual class where the professor is more hands-on rather than laid back. Students have the option to have others work for them, and they develop an uninterest in their work, which can lead to them failing their classes. This characteristic of being complacent with their work is not suitable for a college environment. At a place where competition is a very keen idea in order to compete with others and gain more of a more educational status of being a above average student. Talking to other students through Zoom is not as beneficial as in-person meetings due to the personal satisfaction that people achieve when talking to others. Sean Chamberlain from montgomerycollege.edu talks about how online courses force students to become more independent, and it will lead to lackluster performances. In the article, he states, so in a philosophical sort of way, the real disadvantage to an internet-based course is that you might not own up to it. You might not take responsibility for your studies and your goals. You might get way behind and never catch up. So this means that online classes to students don't feel as real as an actual in-person class, but it feels like a trial. This leads students to to feel as their work have no significance in the class, and their attitude towards school begin to decline throughout the rest of the year. This is where having a strong family and friend support system is crucial to mitigate these problems in the future. Um, in a disconnected, unface-to-face world of a college student, it's very crucial to have a strong family support system that will help overcome loneliness and discomfort among other people. College students, especially freshmen, get worried and nervous about what professors expect out of their students. I remember when I started my RCC career that I was very worried of what my professors expected of me. But once I reached out and tried to get into a group that I connected with, it helped me pursue my knowledge and allowed me to have success in the classroom. So an article from Aradhana Shukla and Rupali Joshi, I apologize if I say those names wrong, documented how much stress can be accumulated when it is the first time attending university. This study shows how many people have been suffering from this type of stress in the university. It says a sample of 400 students, including 200 boys from IIT, BHU, and 200 boys from the Faculty of Science, VHU, student stress scale, which assesses stress in 5 areas: viz, academic, environmental, family, financial, and the hostel was administered on these students. And the results showed there was a significant difference in academic, family, financial, hostel, and overall stress areas as the mean scores of non-professional students was significantly higher among non-professional students than professional students. It is a lot of words, but to sum it up, it means the study had shown the importance of what occupation had and how it related to the differences and how they interpret different ideas and different types of stress in life. RCC offers many programs to help students become more socially engaged with each other, like clubs on campus. These clubs offer family-like experiences in their own aspect, as well as sports also are a great option to feel connections to hard work and determination. Well, these are all valid options. Another aspect I want to talk about is how we must understand people emotionally in order to understand their background and how we can help them dealing with mental stress and loneliness. Mental health, excuse me. Life as a college student is very stressful. And in order to understand these stresses, we must take the time to understand and display emotions towards others when needed. College students need engagement with others, especially when it comes to talking about how they feel emotionally, whether it be with friends or family. Whether it be with friends or maybe in a therapist. Talk about what you're experiencing can help solve the distress that's been built up inside of you. I had the amazing opportunity to talk to Anne Marie Lockmeyer, who's an award-winning author and advanced grief recovery specialist. And I asked her what her take was on what she believed students needed in order to deal with the anxieties that may have been built due to the environmental exposure from college. She said, giving people permission to have anxieties and worries and not try to talk them out of it. When we validate people's feelings, it is easier for them to go to the next feeling instead of trying to talk them out of it. She goes on to say that our natural tendencies to protect ourselves and not get involved in certain situations. RCC provides many programs, including therapy, that allow students to help speak their problems and work to help solve them as efficiently as possible. They also give services to people that have suffered substance abuse and now are alone because of it. In addition to these social groups, social groups or clubs also plays an essential role in providing students with an opportunity for social connection among peers. Building a community is very important as joining a club or organization opens opportunities for students to meet many different students who share interests or ideas that revolve around how they can better the group. It also creates chances to speak about what interests you and how you can alleviate yourself as an individual. Vivek H. Murthy talks about this idea and states that he met a group of Native American teenagers who felt they lost their identity and forgotten by the outside world. So they developed an I Am Indian program to strengthen the sense of culture and belonging among their peers and reduce their risk of alcohol and drug addiction. This importance of building a community shows that loneliness and mental health drifts away and establishes more face to face interaction. RCC has many clubs and jobs that involve the community and school work that focuses on positivity. Joining programs like the honors program allows RCC students to feel as though they belong amongst a group of individuals that want to alleviate the success of previous generation. Also, having private club rooms allows students to converse on what interests them and helps reduce the stress while also springing chances for personal input to be displayed for the club's future. In conclusion, now that we are distant from each other, it is now more important than ever to come together in unity and show love and compassion towards others. Working to understand how others feel and taking the time to sit down and chat about life and the many possibilities that can occur is very important in today's in today. The future is bright for the next generation of students and young adults. The next entrepreneur can be just in your campus, and we must allow these students to prosper and also inspire other students. As the next generation of RCC students, let us band together as a student body and tackle loneliness together.
Thank you for viewing my PowerPoint, and thank you to the faculty staff members for allowing me to present my presentation for this year's research conference. I hope all of you have a great day.